Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a short week this week with the bank holiday, but we've still managed to make some decent progress on the 912. So check out the video. So I'm going to pick up where I left off at the end of the last video and repair the end of this longitudinal and get the rear panels welded in. So with the necessary cuts made, I can now remove this engine mount and remove the whole back end in one go. Then I can clean up the inside of the longitudinal and prep it for welding. Okay, so with the back end of the longitudinal removed, I just wanted to check the differences between that and the new panel. Obviously the main difference being the engine mount. We've got this reinforcement panel here, and then we just had some tabs. So yeah, pretty straightforward. So let's get cracking. Okay, with all the areas marked that I need to bare metal for welding, I can now clean it up and prep it ready to weld the engine mount bracket and the tabs on. Here I'm just spot welding a strengthener on the inside of the area where the engine mount bracket welds to. With that done, I can now clamp the panel in place and use our jig bracket to locate the engine mount bracket. I then can weld all the way around the outside and finish off with the spot welder. Okay, so that's now our repair section prepped for welding on the inside. As you can see, we've got our engine mount all welded on. And then the inside of here is all been cleaned back, treated, primed and weld through primed. So we're ready to fit it. Let's go. That is the inner longitudinal all repaired and ready to go. We can now move on to the rear panels. Here I'm just test fitting the inner rear panel before marking it where it needs cleaning for welding. So I've prepped the inner rear panel, outer rear panel, both support panels, and our witch's hat, or gusset as it's probably called, and it's ready to fit. With the inner rear panel spot welded and seam welded in, I can now use the spot welder to fit the outer rear panel. Well, that's the rear end done, so time to move on to the gusset panel. Okay, so we've now got this gusset panel in. So that is pretty much repaired now, up to the A-pillar. As you can see, we've still got an awful lot of work to do before we can even think about putting the floor in. So all of these flanges need repairing. But what I'm going to do next is repair the bottom of these front quarter panels, because this is the pinch seam where it welds to the floor. So I want to get all of this repaired, both sides, then make the repairs for the flanges that we were just talking about. Some more in here. So this is all the floor panel. This is all floor. We've got replacement side members, but these pieces that we've got to make. So yeah, I've now got to repair all of the seams that weld to the floor, and then we can start thinking about getting the floor in. Okay, so Select don't do bumper mount brackets. They do them for an SC model 911, but not for the 912 or really early 911s. So we're going to make one. So I've had these shafts turned up by a local engineer. Then I've made this plate to bolt onto the bumper mount. And then I've cut that to then weld to them both. So basically I'm now going to, once this bracket's welded together, I'm going to cut this off, fit a new panel, spot weld a new bumper mount on, and then work my way along here. And then that should be that. Okay, so that's our bracket now made, bolted down, bolted to the car, fully welded in. And we've got 912 front left, just so we know where it goes in future. Right, time to replace this panel. Okay, so with the bulk of the original panel removed, I can now offer up the new repair panel. I'm using the top holes to align with the old panel that I left on the car. I can then use a couple of screws to hold the back edge in place, offer up my bumper mount bracket and mark round it to show me where I need to clean up ready for welding. I can also scribe the back line onto the original quarter panel and then use my angle grinder to trim it back. Okay, so that's the front bumper mount done. We've spot welded the bracket on. You can see the spot welds there and there. And then, yeah, replace this whole front section. Put the join in through there. So yeah, really happy with that. That's come out quite nice. And the inside as well is nice and tidy. I haven't welded up here yet because we've got to make this top section and repair that. And then likewise with the bottom, I haven't welded that because we've got a cut all along there. Right, on to the next bit. Okay, so that's all the rot removed from the bottom of this quarter panel. As you can see in here is pretty horrid as well. But this panel runs from the side of the petrol tank all the way along up to the driver's feet on this side. And we've got a new one of these. And this suspension mount goes straight through and welds from the top as well. So the reason I've cut it so high is because it saves me drilling out all of these spot welds when it comes to replacing this panel. So now I just need to cut the replacement panel to this shape, keeping this seam in line, and then I can join it all the way through here for a seamless finish just like this. So I've just laid over the old piece onto the new piece, which I will now scribe round, ignoring this square because this is where the brake hose bracket was, and then yeah, trim it and fit it up. Well, I've run out of time before the end of the week to finish this repair, but if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe and share it as well, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya!